So, you just picked up Strive and want to learn Giovanna, huh? Well, here's some tips so you can just pick up and go. Now let's get into it.
Wow, cool.
So first thing first, Giovanna's a rushdown character, meaning her game plan is to get in your face and apply as much pressure as possible to break down your opponent's defense. She's a very beginner friendly character that's also equipped with a simple moveset that's straightforward to use. With her tools, you should be relatively safe on block throughout your matches too, but she lacks range, so you have to use momentum to make up for that by dashing in. Giovanna also has a nice gimmick that gives her a defensive and damage buff. When she gains 50% tension, her dog slash wolf, I guess? Anyway, when it's glowing, she starts to do 5% more damage on her attacks, and then once she gets 100% tension, she turns into She-Hulk? What?
I wish my cases were this quick.
Yo, my guy, who made this character? What the fuck? All jokes aside, when she hulks out... I'm sorry. All jokes aside, when she hulks out, no pun intended, you will do 10% more damage, so it might just be wise to hold on to that meter to cash out on some extra damage. Okay, so the first normal we're going to cover is Giovanna's punch. Her punch, aka 5P. Hey, if you're new to fighting games and you don't know all this lingo I'm speaking, I got you covered in the description down below. And oh yeah, if you want to see more videos like this, consider liking the video and subscribing to help your boy out, okay? 5P is her fastest normal, and it's a normal that can be chained, meaning you can mash punch till you can't mash no more. It's good for jabbing out fake pressure and tight punishes. This move can only be cancelled into her DP, aka 632S. If you're planning on punishing this move, only jab twice before cancelling because the third hit will miss. And the punish will only work if it's a point blank punish, because other than that, that will whiff too. 2P is just about the same as 5P in every way, except its range is slightly further and comes out a tad bit slower. This is also exceptionally good at jabbing out any fake pressure and grab attempts too. And that's all you need to learn about this move. 5K has some okay range, but where it really shines is when you dash before using it for a very deceptive range. So it's 100% your best poke tool, so use it. You can also go for a tick grab on hit or block after dashing in, and you can also dash from 5K to either go for a grab or apply pressure. But be warned, when you do the dash cancel, you have to commit to the dash fully before you're able to attack again. This move is also special cancelable and can be cancelled into dust for a high-low mix-up, but you primarily want to cancel into 214K during combos and simple punishes. 2K is the same speed as her 5K, but it hits low and it hits even farther. This move can also be cancelled into dust for a high-low mix-up as well, and there's nothing too fancy here outside of being a low, and that's it for this move. Okay, so 5S has two versions. There's a far and a close variant. The far version is primarily used to apply pressure, but do not whiff this thing because you will get punished. So yeah, try not to do that. Thanks to the Gatling system, you can cancel this move into heavy slash. Now close 5S has to be point blank or the other version will come out instead. But it is plus on block if you hit, so it's still your turn after landing it. This version can cancel into dust, crouching slash, heavy slash, and crouching heavy slash, and I'll explain those just about now. So 2S is a low that does 2 hits. The range is, it's alright, but it's a little better when you use your dash momentum. It is special cancelable on both hits and can be canceled into crouching heavy slash and heavy slash.
Here I
5HS or 5H, whatever you prefer. This is your long range poke and whiff punish tool if you're close enough to do so. It has a bit of startup, so don't use it too much in neutral unless you want to get counter hit every 2 seconds.
go! You're slow.
2H. This is one of her slower moves. You pretty much have to be point blank for it to hit, so it's not recommended to just throw out there all willy-nilly.
Do not do it willy-nilly!
Okay, so Dust, also known as the universal overhead and sweep button, the high-low mix-up button if you will. This move is not cancelable at all. If you land Dust, it will leave you on neutral on hit, so either backdash or make a move hoping you'll hit first.
You like to flush it!
On block, on the other hand, you better pray to God your opponent doesn't know how to punish, because it's like minus a billion on block.
This is not
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Let's do this! Tyrant!
Dust does have one more unique property though. If you hold the Dust button, a slower but stronger version of the overhead will come out. This right here will lead you to an air combo that does some crazy damage. But again, if your opponent blocks this version, you will get punished. There is a bit of pushback though, so you can only get punished with specific fast long range moves and advancing normals. Now let's talk about Giovanna's air normals. Jumping P is a fast air normal that doesn't lead to anything big but can get people off of you in air-to-air situations. Jumping K is another fast move that's also good to use if you want to go for a cross-up. This attack can also be cancelled into Jumping D and can be air dash cancelled from. Jumping S is your true air-to-air move and it has the ability to cancel to Jumping H. Now Jumping H is a nice and reliable move to use on jump-ins, but you have to hit this move with a deep jump-in to combo. Jumping D. This is another great jump-in tool, mostly because it hits twice, just as long as you don't land before the second hit comes out. And it makes confirming it to grounded combos a lot easier. Okay, so Giovanna has two command normals. The first one is 6P and the other is 6H. 6P is a universal anti-air. This move has upper body invincibility and is actually a little slow on startup, so be cautious of when and where you use it. Interestingly enough, Giovanna can also use this to go through fast projectiles too. Giovanna's 6H is a 3-hitting move. It does 3 moves and you can delay all 3, which can be very useful if you want to open someone up that likes to press buttons. You can even cancel the first hit and second hits of the move, but not the third hit. It's very unsafe on block, so you might have to Roman cancel that to make it safe. Now that we've made it to her special moves, here's a glance at her move list. As you can see, she doesn't have much, so there's not a whole bunch to remember. 214K. This attack moves Giovanna slightly forward and comes out fast. It has a decently long reach and should be your primary combo ender for most combos. Using this move on block actually leaves you safe, but you lose your turn. You can either backdash or block for the most part. 236K. This move is pretty good for closing distance on your opponent and does some pretty decent damage while using combos. If you manage to hit your opponent on block, you can go for 5K for a frame trap and can even go into sweep from there for another frame trap on top of that. Even though this is your most useful tool to stay on your opponent, where it really lacks is startup. It's very slow and your opponent can react with a 6P, so don't be too predictable and mix it up. 623S. This move is your DP and you're really only going to use it as an anti-air. Giovanna is in a low profile state, meaning that she's technically super low to the ground even if she doesn't look it. Even though it's a good move for anti-airing, it strictly goes vertical, so this needs to be timed correctly to use it properly. 214S. This attack is actually a 2-hitting move. The first hit is behind her and the second is in front, right before she lands. She can jump over lows with this move, and it's also great for keeping your opponent guessing on wake up by crossing up and being unpredictable. She can cross up with jumping K and input the motion of the command in the opposite direction she's facing, and she can make both hits connect if you succeed with the cross up. And now for her overdrives. Giovanna has 2 overdrives, half circle back, then forward, which can only be done on the ground, and then double quarter circle forward, which can only be done in the air. The ground overdrive is her only true reversal that's invincible on startup, and the closer you are to the opponent, the more damage you get for landing all of the hits. The air overdrive isn't invincible, but it has fast startup and is plus on block, so you can continue your offense without consequence. And lastly, both overdrives can break the wall for extra damage and a hard knockdown near the corner.
Hear the sky.
Finally, let's get into how Giovanna should generally be played in a match. Like I said before, she's a rushdown character, so you mostly want to be in your opponent's face. Being far from your opponent isn't where you want to be. That is Giovanna's biggest weakness, so stay close. You don't want to be overly aggressive either. Have some patience if you can't open up your opponent, and play a little bit of neutral. The number one thing you need to utilize in your arsenal is your dash. She's one of the characters in the game that does not have a run, but instead benefits from a quick dash. While doing this dash, you should utilize the faultless defense mechanic while dashing to literally hit the brakes, so you can bait people into whiffing an attack to punish. Next, you really want to go for frame traps and mix-ups. By doing these things, you will be guaranteed to win a lot more matches on the lower floors. People who like to press buttons will just delete themselves. For frame trap 1, just do Giovanna's 236K into your opponent, and if they block it, you're an advantage. So if you press 5K right after you hit, your attack will come out before theirs. Here are the things you can do from that.
It's heavy. Taking aim. I'm throwing you. Clouds bouncing. Repulse. Taking aim. How would you like to fly?
With all of those things, you can always end it with 214K to end up safe at the end. But you can also throw a 236K in there from time to time to reset your pressure if your opponent is turtling up and blocking. Frame Trap 2 is pretty much the same as the last example, except it started with 214S instead. Now because Giovanna's dash is so good, you can get away with grabs a lot. Mix them in with jump-ins, regular tick grabs,
I'm throwing you.
and even dash cancels.
Quiet.
Sometimes you can just dash in and grab too.
I'm throwing you.
I'll even show you a basic combo you can get off of a grab when you do a red Roman cancel. Mid-screen and in the corner.
Quiet. Oh, you're done now. Up here. Clouds bouncing. I'm throwing you. Almost flat. May I borrow you?
As for mix-ups, you can use 214S for some basic ones. Every once in a while, if you knock down your opponent, use this for an easy and fast cross-up. Don't abuse it though, because your opponent can do this.
Up here. Pretty careless. Scary.
But what you can do to mix it up is this.
Pretty careless. You're slow.
This will make the wake up game turn into a 50-50, so be smart on how you want to use and abuse this strategy. One thing that is pivotal for you to be a good Giovanna player is this setup.
Up here.
This right here is known as a safe jump. Basically what that means is in most situations doing the safe jump, your opponent has to hold that. This is instant pressure and an easy way for you to start your offense after a solid hit with 214S or any knockdown such as a sweep. or air juggled 214K. So I said it's good in most situations, but it's definitely not good in these. It will take a bit to get used to, but once you get it down, your game plan will be that much solid. Before I send you off into the wild, here are some super basic bread and butter combos to give you a good foundation to work with. Once you get better and comfortable with these, try discovering your own variations and combinations.
You're slow. Don't get my knee. You're slow. Repump. 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 You're slow. Repump. Taking aim. You're slow. You're slow. Sorry. Sorry. Pretty careless. Repump. Sorry. Brent stillness. Up here. Sorry. Up here. Oops. You're slow. Oops. You're slow. Vamos lá! All good! Vamos lá! This is gonna hurt! Oh, you're done! How would you like to fly? Here I go! Clean it up! All good! Nope. You're on the win. I'm tired.
Hopefully, with all this knowledge I'm passing down, I helped most of you out there and you end up using most, if not all of the info I provided in the video. Remember peeps, knowledge is power. Let me know in the comments down below who you'd like to see next. But until next time, peace.